Most people think kidney problems come from something serious, something obvious, something they would notice right away. But what if I told you that for many people, the process doesn't start with pain or a diagnosis or a warning from a doctor? It starts quietly in the simplest part of your day, your morning routine. In fact, I've seen many people who felt completely fine, had no clear symptoms, and still, over time, their kidneys were slowly being placed under unnecessary stress, not because they were doing something extreme, but because of small habits that felt completely normal. And one of the most overlooked of these habits is what you drink first thing in the morning. Because after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body wakes up in a very specific state. You're slightly dehydrated, your system has been working overnight to filter waste, and your kidneys are already active before you even open your eyes. And the very first thing you introduce into your body sets the tone for everything that follows. It either supports that process or makes it harder. The problem is, most people don't think about it this way. They reach for whatever is convenient, whatever they're used to, without realizing how that choice affects their body at that exact moment. And over time, these small choices create patterns. Patterns that either support your kidneys or slowly work against them. Today, I want to walk you through what actually helps, what doesn't, and how you can make simple changes that support your body without making your routine complicated. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what your kidneys are doing, especially during the night. While you sleep, your body doesn't stop working. Your kidneys continue filtering your blood, removing waste, balancing fluids, and maintaining internal stability. But during those hours, you're not drinking anything. So your body gradually shifts into a slightly more concentrated state. This means that by the time you wake up, your system is ready for support, not in a dramatic way, but in a way that matters over time. And this is where your first drink becomes important. Because when you introduce something that supports hydration and balance, your kidneys can function more smoothly. But when you introduce something that creates additional work, whether it's too concentrated, too stimulating, or too unbalanced, your kidneys have to compensate. And again, this is not something you feel immediately. It's something that builds gradually. This is why many people don't connect their habits with how their body feels later. They think the issue is random, when in reality, it's part of a pattern that repeats every day. Now let's talk about something that may surprise you. Not all healthy drinks are equally supportive in the morning. Some drinks that are generally considered beneficial can actually create unnecessary strain when consumed at the wrong time or in the wrong way. This doesn't mean they are harmful overall. It simply means timing matters. For example, drinks that are very concentrated or contain added sugars can enter your system quickly, forcing your body to respond rapidly. This creates a situation where your kidneys have to process more than they are ready for in that moment. And when this happens repeatedly, it contributes to a pattern of imbalance. On the other hand, certain drinks work with your body instead of against it. They support hydration, provide gentle nutrients, and allow your system to function in a more stable way. And what's important is that these options are not complicated. They are simple, accessible, and easy to include in your daily routine. One of the most supportive options, and at the same time one of the most overlooked, is something extremely simple: properly prepared water. It may sound too basic to matter, but in reality, it plays a critical role. After a full night of rest, your body needs hydration more than anything else. Water helps dilute the substances your kidneys have been filtering overnight, supports circulation, and allows your system to reset before the day begins. But the way you drink it matters. Large amounts all at once can feel overwhelming to your system. A more effective approach is to drink a moderate amount slowly, allowing your body to absorb and use it efficiently. Temperature also plays a role. Water that is too cold can create a mild stress response, especially in the morning, while water that is closer to room temperature tends to align better with your body's natural state. These details may seem small, but they influence how your body responds. And when repeated every day, they create a pattern that either supports your system or works against it. Now let's move into something that many people have heard about, but very few understand how to use correctly: cranberry juice. On the surface, it's just another drink, something you might associate with general wellness. But when you look at how it interacts with your body, especially in the morning, it becomes much more interesting. After a full night of sleep, your urinary system is in a more concentrated state. This means that waste products and bacteria, if present, have had time to accumulate. Now, your body is designed to manage this, but it needs support to do so efficiently. This is where cranberry comes in. It contains natural compounds that help prevent certain types of bacteria from attaching to the lining of your urinary tract. Instead of staying and multiplying, they are more likely to be flushed out when you hydrate. And this matters because many kidney-related issues don't begin in the kidneys themselves. They often start lower in the urinary system and move upward over time. By supporting this process early in the day, you reduce the likelihood of that chain reaction. But there is something very important to understand here. Not all cranberry juice works the same way. Many store-bought versions contain high amounts of added sugar, and that completely changes how your body responds. Instead of supporting your system, it creates additional work. That's why the best option is unsweetened cranberry juice, or a diluted version that reduces its intensity while maintaining its benefits. And again, this is not about drinking large amounts. It's about consistency. Small, regular use supports your system far more effectively than occasional large intake. Another option that works in a slightly different way is green tea, and this is where we move from hydration to protection. Green tea is often described as healthy, but that word doesn't really explain why it matters. What makes it useful is how it supports your body at a cellular level. Inside your body, there is a constant process happening. Your cells are working, filtering, producing energy, and during that process, byproducts are created. Over time, these byproducts can place stress on your system if they are not managed properly. Green tea contains natural compounds that help your body deal with this process more efficiently. They support balance, reduce unnecessary internal strain, and help maintain a more stable environment for your kidneys to function. Another important aspect is how it supports circulation and overall system balance. When your body is functioning smoothly, your kidneys receive a steady flow of blood, which allows them to do their job without unnecessary pressure. And this is where green tea becomes especially useful in the morning. It provides hydration, but also gentle support without overwhelming your system. However, preparation matters. Water that is too hot can reduce some of these beneficial compounds, while steeping for too long can make it less pleasant and harder to maintain as a daily habit. A simple, moderate approach works best. And just like with everything else, consistency is what creates results over time. Now let's talk about something that feels more like a meal than a drink: smoothies. And this is where many people either get it very right or completely wrong. A well-prepared smoothie can be one of the most supportive ways to start your day, especially if you don't feel like eating a heavy meal in the morning. It provides hydration, nutrients, and energy in a form that your body can process easily. But the key word here is well prepared, because many smoothies that people make or buy are loaded with added sugars, sweetened yogurts, or juices that turn what could be supportive into something that creates instability. A better approach is to keep things simple. Use whole ingredients that your body can process gradually. Berries, for example, provide natural compounds that support your system without overwhelming it. When combined with something like plain yogurt, you create a balance. Something that delivers nutrients while also slowing down how quickly they enter your system. This creates a more stable response, which is exactly what your body needs in the morning. And again, this is not about perfection. It's about avoiding extremes. When your smoothie becomes too concentrated or too sweet, it stops being supportive and starts creating more work for your body. But when it's balanced, it becomes one of the easiest and most effective habits you can maintain. Now let's talk about the part that most people never pay attention to, mistakes that seem completely harmless. Because this is where the biggest difference is often made. One of the most common habits is reaching for something quick and convenient without thinking about how your body will respond. Sugary drinks, concentrated juices, or even certain healthy options that are highly processed can enter your system too quickly, forcing your body to react immediately. And when this happens first thing in the morning, it sets a pattern for the rest of the day. Another mistake is skipping hydration altogether and going straight to stimulating drinks. This creates a situation where your body is already slightly dehydrated and then has to manage additional input without the support it needs. Over time, these patterns become routine, and your body adapts to them in a way that feels normal, even though it may not be optimal. And this is why many people feel like their system is unpredictable. It's not unpredictable. It's responding to patterns that have been repeated for years. Once you begin to recognize those patterns, everything becomes much clearer because you realize that small changes can shift how your body responds in a very real way. So here's what I want you to take from this. Your kidneys are not something you think about every day, but they are working for you every second of your life. And the way you start your morning plays a direct role in how they function over time. You don't need complicated routines or extreme changes. What you need is a simple, consistent approach that supports your body from the moment you wake up. Start with hydration. Choose drinks that work with your system, not against it. Keep things balanced, avoid extremes, and most importantly, be consistent. Because your body doesn't respond to what you do once, it responds to what you do every day. And when you give it the support it needs, it begins to function in a way that feels more stable, more predictable, and more comfortable over time. So tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for the first thing out of habit, take a moment to choose something that supports your body. That one small decision, repeated daily, can make a meaningful difference.